Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today, it is August 25th, 2022. It's on Thursday. It's a little sunny outside. My ideas are often regarded radical. My ideas are often regarded as radical. My idea seems to sound radical. My idea seems to sound radical. But radical ideas can be very important to sometimes to change drastically, to change the system drastically. Radical ideas are sometimes important. Do you think radical reforms are needed in the educational system? Do you think radical changes are needed in the English education system? Do you think radical changes are needed in the educational system? Radical. The English education system might be changed radically, thoroughly. Do you think radical changes must be done to the educational system? Do you think my idea is radical? Do you think my idea is radical? Do you think my method of studying English radical? Do you think my way of studying English radical? My idea seems to sound radical. Radical reforms might be needed in the system. Radical changes might be needed in the system. Radical reforms might be needed in the system. Radical changes, reforms, revisions might be needed in the educational system, compulsory educational system. Radical changes, reforms, measures, revisions might be needed in the educational system. All of the students have to take the examinations, whether they are excellent or not. The festival will be held whether it rains or not. The detectives entered the house to see if there are concealed documents or evidence the criminal has. The detectives entered the house of the criminal to check if there are still remaining tools which are used for the crime. The detective entered the house to search for remaining tools, instruments which were used for the crimes. The detectives entered the house to search for the other tools which were used for the crimes. I'm of two minds whether or not I should apply for the job. I'm of two minds whether to take on the job. I'm in two minds about whether I should take on the job or not. I'm of two minds Whether or not I should take on the job. I should take on the job. I should undertake the job. The festival will be held whether it rains or not. The festival will be held whether it rains or not. Whether it rains or not, the festival will be held. Whether it rains or not, the festival will be held. Whether it rains or not, the festival will be held. Whether it rains or not, the festivals will take place. Take place. I studied late at night, whether I was tired or not. I studied until late at night, whether I was tired or not. That's why I could pass examination. The employee worked overtime almost every day, whether he was exhausted or not. It won't be long before the game kicks off. It won't be very long before the soccer game starts. It won't be very long before the game starts. Before the game starts. It won't be long before the cinema kicks off. It won't be very long. It won't be very long before the game starts. It won't be very long before the game starts. The game kicks off. It wasn't very long. It wasn't so long before the game started. Before the game kicked off. It won't be very long. It won't be long before the game kicks off. It won't be long before the game kicks off. It won't be long. It won't be very long. It won't be very long. Very long. It won't be very long before the games kick off. It wasn't very long before my name was called. It wasn't very long before the game kicked off. I'd like to kick off my project. I'd like to kick my project off. I'd like to kick my project off. When do you kick off your project? When do you kick off your dream? The game has just started. The game has just kicked off. The game has just kicked off. The game has kicked off. The game has just kicked off. The game has just kicked off. It won't be long. It won't be long before the game kicks off. It won't be long before the game kicks off. It won't be long before the game kicks off. It won't be long before the game kicks off. It won't be long before the game kicks off. It won't be long before the game kicks off. It won't be long before the game kicks off. Are you going to kick off your new business? When are you going to kick off your new business? When are you going to kick off your new business? When are you going to kick off your new business? When are you going to kick off your new business? When are you going to kick off your new business? By the time I arrived at the stadium, the game had already kicked off. By the time I arrived at the station, the train had already gone. By the time I arrived at the stadium, the game had already kicked off. The event was kicked off by igniting the torch by the runner. The game was kicked off by declaration of the Prime Minister. The event was kicked off by the declaration from the Prime Minister. My idea is that studying every day is very important to stack up knowledge and to get used to the language world. My idea is that making the studying our daily routine is very important to get used to the language, to immerse ourselves into the language world. Could you pick me up at the airport? If you have time, could you pick me up at the airport? No, you don't have to pick me at the airport. It's far from your house. I can go home on my own. The troops were called in to put down the riot. The security forces were called in to put down the riot. How many jobs do you put down? How many jobs do you put down? None. I have picked up none of them. None of the jobs. I have picked up 0 jobs. 0 job. I picked up 0 job. I'd like to pick up my favorite job. I'd like to pick up a job at the ministry as soon as possible, as early as possible. I'd like to pick up a job at the ministry. How many jobs do you pick up? I've currently picked up two jobs. I've currently picked up two jobs in case of emergency. I used to pick up only one job, but given the current situation, I picked up two jobs right now in case of urgency. I'd like to pick up a job at the ministry. I'd like to pick up a job at my favorite company. I'd like to pick up a job at my favorite company. I'd like to pick up a job at my favorite company. I'd like to pick up a job at my favorite company. I'd like to pick up a job in which I can do what I like. I'd like to pick up a job in which I can do what I love. Could you pick me up on the way? Okay, I can pick you up on the way because your house is located on my way to work. Good. Sounds good. Could you give me a ride to the airport? Could you give me a ride to the Universal Studios Japan? Sure. I'd like to pick up a job. 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 I'd like to pick up a job at the ministry. I'd like to pick up a job. I'd like to pick up a job at the ministry or at the company. I'd like to pick up a job at either the ministry or the company. I'd like to pick up a job at the ministry. I'd like to pick up a job at the ministry. Do you also want to pick up a job at the ministry? Would you like to pick up a job at the ministry? Would you like to pick up a job in the tourism industry? Would you like to pick up a job in the tourism industry? Would you like to pick up a job in the tourism industry? Would you like to pick up a job in the tourism industry? When I was a university student, I made ends meet. I made ends meet with trivial salaries from my part-time job, from my odd jobs. When I was a university student, I made ends meet with odd jobs, with temporary jobs, with odd jobs. Have you ever tried odd jobs? The temporary jobs is my odd jobs. I have temporary odd jobs. I have temporary odd jobs. Have you tried odd jobs? Odd jobs. Odd jobs. Odd jobs. I undertake some odd jobs to cover my utilities. I take some odd jobs to cover my utilities. I take some odd jobs. I take some odd jobs. I take on odd jobs sometimes. I take on odd jobs sometimes. I undertake 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 odd jobs sometimes. Odd jobs, odd jobs, odd jobs, odd jobs, odd jobs, odd jobs. Odd jobs, odd jobs, odd jobs. Odd jobs. I take on sometimes odd jobs, odd jobs, odd jobs, odd jobs. I sometimes take on odd jobs. I sometimes undertake odd jobs. I sometimes take on odd jobs. I used to get unemployment benefits a few months after the retirement. I used to get unemployment benefits after the retirement. I used to get some unemployment benefits after the retirement. Do you get some income subsidy? Can I also get income subsidy? Can I get the 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 income subsidy? Do you get subsidy from the government? Are you getting some subsidy from the government? Are you getting income subsidy from the government? Income subsidy, income subsidy, income subsidy, income subsidy. Income subsidy. Are you getting income subsidy? Can I also get the income subsidy? Can I 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 get the income subsidy? My Finn friend introduced the song very long time ago. Now I like him. My Finn friend recommended the song to me. My Finn friend recommended the song to me. My Finn friend recommended the song to me. Recommended the song to me. My Finn friend recommended the song to me. My Finn friend recommended the song to me. Finns. Have you ever been to Finland? Have you ever been to Finland? No, I haven't been to Finland, but I'd like to go there someday. I want to see the Santa Claus. I want to meet the Santa Claus in the Santa Claus village. I want to meet Santa Claus at the Santa Claus village. Finns. Finns. Have you met a Finn? I haven't met a Finn. I'd like to have a Finn friends. I'd like to have Finn friends. Do you have a Finn friend? Do you have a Finns friend? No, I don't have a Finns friend. I'd like to have a Finns friend. I'm trying to make the best of my current income. I'm trying to make the best of my income. I'm trying to make the best of my income. The security camera captured the thief entering the bank. The security camera captured a man stealing something from the bank. The security camera captured a man depriving the old lady of their wallet, of her wallet. The security camera captured a man depriving the old couple of their wallet. How can you warrant the security? How can you guarantee the security? How can you guarantee the security? How can you guarantee the security? I hope the medical advances will help my disease perfectly. I hope the medical advances will eradicate my disease as soon as possible. How long period of time are you going to study today? I have been studying English for a long period of time, but I still cannot understand many words, especially the words spoken fast by the native speakers. I've been studying English for a long period of time, but there are many words that I still don't know. So language studying is like a forever, endless. I will never give up. I will keep studying to level up gradually. The company is expanding rapidly. The company is expanding rapidly on a global scale. The festival was held on a smaller scale given the current situation. The company is expanding rapidly. The company is expanding rapidly. Do you think my ideas are radical? Do you think radical reforms are needed in educational system? Do you think radical reforms are needed in the educational system? Do you think radical changes are needed in the educational system? Do you think radical changes are needed in the educational system? Do you think radical changes are needed in the educational system? Radical. Do you think I am radical? Do you think my way to study English radical? Do you find it radical to study English with my method? Do you find my way of studying English radical? Do you believe radical changes are needed in the educational system? Do you think radical changes are needed in the educational system? Radical. He is known as the radical. I watched a TV in which two radicals are talking about the issue. I watched two radicals talking about the issue on TV. I watched two radicals talking about the issue on TV. I watched two radicals talking about the issue on TV. I watched two radicals discussing the issue on TV. Do you think I am a radical? Do you think I am a radical? Do you believe I am a radical? Do you think he is a radical? Do you think he is a radical? The idea was made by the radical. 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 Radical measures might be needed to solve the problems. Radical reforms might be needed to make the situation better. Radical changes might be needed in the educational system. I watched two radicals discussing the issues on TV. I watched a radical discussing the issue on TV. I watched a radical discussing the issue on TV. I watched a radical giving a speech on TV. I watched a radical delivering a speech on TV. I watched a TV in which a radical was expressing his feelings. The medicine is still under experimental phase. Experimental phase. The new medicine is still under experimental phase. 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 I remember experimenting in the science class with a BTB liquid. I remember experimenting something at the science class. I remember conducting an experiment at the science class. I remember conducting an experiment at the science class. I remember conducting a science experiment at the science class. I remember conducting an experiment at the science class. I remember conducting an experiment at the science class. The researchers are conducting a series of experiments to find out the truth behind the phenomena. The researchers are conducting a series of experiments to find out what's going on in the object. The medicine is still under experimental phase. Experimental phase. So it will be spread in the clinic or hospitals as early as 5 or 10 years. The school has enough experimental tools for students. The school has enough experimental tools for science experiments. The experimental tools were divided into some groups. The experimental tools were divided, sent out to each group. Experimenter, experimenter, experimenter. Do you like experimental class? Did you like experimental class? Experimenter, 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 experimenter. Do you like experimental class? Do you like an experimental class? Experimenter, experimenter, experimenter. Do you like experimental class? Do you like experimental class? Do you like an experimental class? I was born as a citizen of Japan. I saw a citizens' movement on the street against the policy. I sometimes see a citizens group demonstrating against the policy. I sometimes see a citizens movement against a policy. Citizens movement. A citizens movement. Citizens movements have been happening since a long time ago. Citizens movements have been happening, arising since long time ago against something. A citizens movement. 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 I came across a citizens movement on the street on my way home. I ran into a citizens movement on my way home. I came across a citizens movement on the street on my way home. I ran into a citizens movement on my way home on the street. A citizens movement. 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 I came across a citizens movement on my way home. I saw a citizens movement on the street on my way home. Is this organization a citizens group? Is this organization a citizens group? Citizens group. Citizens group. A citizens group. Is this organization a citizens group? Is this group a citizens group? Is this a citizens group? Is the society a citizens group? Is the society a citizens group? A citizens group. 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 Do you want to get a citizenship? Do you want to get a citizenship in Japan? Do you want to get a citizenship in Japan? Do you want to get a citizenship in Japan? Some people want to get a citizenship in Japan. Have you acquired a citizenship? Have you acquired a citizenship? When did you acquire a citizenship? When did you acquire citizenship? When did you acquire citizenship? Do you want to acquire the citizenship? Would you like to acquire 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 citizenship? Would you like a cup of coffee? Would you like a cup of coffee? Thank you. Yes, I'd like something too cold. I'd like to something cold to drink. Something cold to drink. The shop clerk guaranteed the quality of the carpet, but it was a lie. When I brought it back to my home, it was ruined. It broke down. It had already broken down when I opened it at my home. All of the goods sold at the store guarantees 2-year free fixing. 2-year free fixing. All of the merchandise sold at the store guarantees 2-year free fixing. All of the merchandise sold at the store guarantees free shipping for 2 years, free fixing for 2 years from the purchase, from the date of the purchase, from the date of the purchase. All of the merchandise sold at the store guarantees 2-year free fixing from the date of the purchase. There is no guarantee that our dreams come true. There is no guarantee that our dreams come true. But we can make the possibility higher by preparing enough. There is no guarantee that I can be a Hollywood star. There is no guarantee that I will be succeed in my business. There is no guarantee that I can be successful in my business. There is no guarantee that I can succeed in my business. There is no guarantee that I will be succeed in my business. There is no guarantee that I will be succeed in my business. But I hope I will be succeed. But I hope I succeed in the business. I really hope from the deep depth of my heart, from the deep depth of my heart, from the deep depth of my heart. How can you guarantee that without evidence based on truth, without evidence, with no basis on fact, with no basis on fact? Is it based on fact? Is it based on fact? The company guarantees higher quality than any other goods sold at other stores. The store guarantees the lowest prices in the town. The store guarantees the lowest prices in the town. The store guarantees the prices lower than any other store in the town. My grandfather became a guarantee of the apartment. My grandfather became a guarantee of the apartment. My grandfather became the guarantee of the apartment. My grandfather became the guarantee of the apartment when I rented it. Because I need a guarantee to pay the rent if I lost the ability to pay that rent. What is the difference between guarantee and warrant? Guarantee and warrant. If you lose the warranty, you cannot get the fix for free. So please take care of the warranty, okay? If you lose the warranty, you cannot get the fixing for free, so please take care of it. Thank you for your cooperation. Cooperation. Thank you for your cooperation. The store warrants 2-year free fixing. The store warrants 2-year free fixing. Search warrant was issued from the judge. Search warrant was issued from the judge. The judge issued the warrant. The judge issued the search 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 warrant. How can you warrant that? The document warrants free fixing for 2 years. But if you lose the warrant, you cannot get the free fixing. So please take care of it so that you won't lose it, okay? Excuse me, I've lost the warrant of my merchandise I bought about 1 year ago. But I'd like to ask if I can get the fixing for free. Unfortunately, if you lose the warrant, you cannot get the fixing for free, unfortunately. Okay, how much does it cost to fix my computer? Let me see. It takes time to assess how much it costs. But as far as I see, it will cost you about $50,000, or about $50 to $100. As far as I see, it will cost you about $50 to $100. The shop warrants the highest quality of the goods. Warrant. How can you warrant that? The document warrants 2-year free fixing. The documents warrant 2-year free fixing. But if you lose the documents, you cannot get the free fixing. So please take care of it so that you won't miss it. Warrant. All of the merchandises sold in this store are warranted 2 years. The store warrants 2-year free fixing to all of the goods sold at this store. The store warrants a 2-year free fixing to all of the merchandise sold at this store. If you lose the warrants, If you lose a warrant's paper, you cannot get a free fixing for. So please take care of it so that you won't miss it. The store gave me the warrant that they would fix my computer for free for 2 years from the date of the purchase. The store gave me the warrant that they would fix the computer for free for 2 years unless I broke it on purpose from the date of the purchase. The store gave me the warrant that they would fix my computer for 2 years for free unless I break it on purpose from the date of the purchase. Good. The participants enjoyed themselves dancing on the street. You can see the festival participants dressed in traditional kimonos, traditional clothes. In the festival, you can see festival participants dressed in traditional clothes. Are you going to participate in the party? I might as well study at home as participate in the nomikai party. I might as well study at home as participate in the party. What do you think of the participation? The participation is for free, so everyone is welcome. The participation is free. The participation is free, for everyone is welcome. Don't hesitate to join. Thank you. Don't hesitate to join. Participation is free. Participation is free. But please register your name and telephone number at the reception. Participation is free, but please register at the reception before entering the facility. Defense program might be revised. Do you think the defense program should be revised? Do you think the defense program should be revised? A little bit changes might be made to the sports meeting program because of the condition. A little bit of changes might be added to the program for the sports meeting, given the current situation. I was looking forward to watching some TV programs long time ago, but not now. Internet is better, more entertaining than TV for me now. Because we can choose what to watch from the videos on the internet. But when it comes to TV, we have to wait for the TV programs to be broadcasted. So we cannot watch when we want. So in terms of the conditions, internet is better. The program for the daily routine was announced. The program for the course was announced. It won't be until tomorrow that the program for the daily exercise is announced. It won't be until next April that the program for the course is announced. Can I see your program for daily exercise? Can I see the program for your daily exercise? Can I see your program for the daily routine? Can I see the program of your daily routine? Routine. The program for the exercise was made by the specialist. I think the program for the daily studying is too hard, so I should lessen the time of studying a little bit shorter. The program for daily study is a little bit too hard for me, so I will add more resting time into it, and I will remove the one from 10 o'clock one from the schedule, from the program. I think the program for daily study is too hard for me, so I think I will make it easier. To prepare for the next day, because I study a lot on the day, it will affect the next day. So I'm going to reduce the time of studying from the daily program. I've just made the program for the trip. I've just made up the program for the concert. I've just made up the program for the trip. I've just made up the program for the concert, for the trip. I've made up the program for the concert. The program for the concert was created. In the program, my turn is on the last, at the last, because I am the eldest in the members. The program for the concert was announced. In the program, my turn is last. My turn is at the last because I'm the oldest. Where can I get the pamphlet of the program for the concert? Where did you get the program for the concert? Where did you get the program for the concert? Where did you get the program for the concert? Can I get the program of the concert for the concert at the reception? Program. I'm making up the program for daily study. I'm making the program for the daily study. I'm making the program for daily study now. The program for the daily study was made. According to the program, we will have the lunch at 12 o'clock at noon. The teacher is making a new program for the daily study. The teacher is making the new program for the daily study. The teacher is making the new program for the daily study. I was looking forward to watching some TV programs in the past, but now I don't watch TV. I don't watch TV. I seldom watch TV. I seldom watch TV now. I rarely watch TV now. I rarely watch TV now. I used to watch TV programs and I was looking forward to watching some TV programs in the past, but not now. I rarely watch TV program now. I seldom watch TV program now. Do you think the defense program should be changed? Should be revised? Do you think the defense program should be revised? The festival will be held regardless of the weather. The festival will be held regardless of the weather. It was raining so heavily. Regardless, the festival was held. It was raining so heavily. Regardless, the festival was held on schedule, as scheduled. It was raining so heavily. Regardless, the festival was held. The car accident was due to your regardless driving. The mistake is due to your regardless movement, contact. Owing to the employee's regardless conduct, he made a mistake. Please avoid regardless contacts. Please avoid regardless contacts. Some people can be regardless. Some people can be regardless after eating lunch. When we get used to something, we tend to be regardless. When we get used to something, we tend to be regardless. We are apt to be regardless. We are inclined to be regardless. We are prone to be regardless. It was raining so heavily. It was raining so heavily. Regardless, the festival was held. The typhoon was approaching to the coast. Regardless, the festival was held. You can apply for the job regardless of your academic status. You can apply for the job regardless of your academic records. What I'm doing does not make any money. Regardless, I continued it. What I'm doing now is not making any money. Regardless, I'm still doing that for myself. What I'm doing does not earn any money. Regardless, I keep doing that for myself. Do you add best regards at the end of the letter? What do you write at the end of the letter? Such as best regards, sincerely yours. Do you write something at the end of the letter such as best regards, sincerely yours? I usually write sincerely yours at the end of the letter. I usually write sincerely yours at the end of the letter to show my respect to others, to show my respect to the recipient of my letter. I usually write sincerely yours at the end of the letter to show my respect toward the recipient of the letter. I usually write best best regards at the end of the letter to show my respect towards the recipient of the letter. Regard. With regard to the trip, I cancelled it because of the pandemic. With regard to the number of foreign tourists, it declined drastically from April or May into 2020. Some people regard me as crazy. Some people regard me as crazy. But I don't think I'm crazy. Everyone is normal. Some people regard me as crazy. Some people regard me as insane in a way. I hope in a good way. Some people regard me as crazy. Some people view me as crazy. Some people view me as crazy. Some people see me as crazy. Some people see me as crazy. I might be seen as crazy. I might be seen as crazy. I might be viewed as crazy. I might be viewed as crazy. I might be regarded as crazy. Your silence will be regarded as the rejection. Silence will be regarded as rejection. Silence will be regarded as agreement with the policy. Agreement to the policy. So please bear that in mind. Please keep that in mind. Your silence will be viewed as the agreement to the policy. So please keep it that in mind. Please bear that in mind, okay? As regards the weather, it will be sunny tomorrow. As regards swimming in the sea, we cannot be too careful when we swim in the sea. As regards crossing the street, we cannot be too careful to when we cross the street. I cannot say thank you too much. I cannot say thank you enough. I cannot be too careful when I swim in the sea. I cannot be too careful. I cannot be too careful. I cannot drive carefully too much. I cannot drive too carefully. I cannot drive my car enough. I cannot drive my car carefully enough. I cannot drive my car too carefully. As regards the issue, it will be dealt at the municipal council today. As regards the issue, it will be dealt with in the diet session today. As regards the next class, I will skip it. I'm too tired. I will go home and have a rest in preparation for tomorrow. As regards, 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 regard, as regards, regard, 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 as regards the weather, It will be sunny tomorrow. As regards fruits, I like peach the most. I like peach the best. As regards fruits, I like the peach the best. I like peach the best. As regards fruits, I like peach the best. As regards fruits, I like the peach the best. I like peach the best. As regards fruits, 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 I like peach the best. As regards, as regards, as regards, as regards, as regards fruits, I like peach the best. As regards fruits, I like peach the best. As regards, as regards, as regards. Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you.